G'day, my name is Thomas Kennett. I am Mossy Willow's business manager / market gardener. We are a regenerative market garden, so we're really thinking about climate change, the importance of soil health, how our system impacts the greater good, and also our little ecosystem here in Main Ridge. We try to service and connect with our local community around here. We're a small-scale farm producing a range of different vegetables and flowers. Soil is arguably the most important element of the entire system. This is because without soil we can't grow healthy produce. The unique thing about soil is that it is related to the carbon cycle and the hydrological cycle of the planet. So we really need to be thinking about, on a greater level, how our soil health and how our practices are impacting both our local ecology but also the planet. To ensure that we are protecting soil health, we think about our crop rotation. We have nitrogen fixers in our first bed that will then extract nitrogen from the atmosphere and plant that in the soil like a natural fertiliser. The next bed along would be tomatoes, then we would have our cucurbits family, etc. In the second year, we would rotate everything up so that we get that diversity flowing through our bed system, which in turn helps soil health. It improves the nutrient density of our food, which then in turn also changes the taste. There's only so much soil health that the naked eye can see, which is why we sometimes need to bring in the expert. Declan?
Thanks, Tom. My name is Declan MacDonald. I'm the Principal Soil Scientist with Regen Soils. And Regen Soils is all about bringing soil back to life.
So what I can see from here is a huge diversity of plants. So we've got big trees behind me. As you can imagine, they've got really big root systems that are going down really deep into the ground. Right here, we've got seedlings that have just been planted and they've got tiny little roots, and there's everything in between. So we talk more these days about root architecture. So root architecture means the different sizes, shapes of roots. And these different roots are doing completely different jobs in the soil as well. A plant is a little sugar factory, and it is making sugar to help it grow, but it's also making sugar to feed the soil, and the fungi and bacteria and all of these organisms are unlocking these nutrients from the soil and delivering them straight to the plant. Think of it like an underground city. There's plumbers, there's carpenters, there's electricians, there's food delivery services. Everything that tree needs is being manufactured under the ground. So typically on a dairy pasture, for example, we might have two species, ryegrass and clover, because we know that they feed the cows really well, but they don't feed the soil terribly well. So what we need in a sustainable pasture, we need lots and lots of different plants. So instead of just ryegrass and clover, we might have 4 or 5 different types of clover. We might have 6, 7 different types of grasses. So these are plants with different above ground and below ground structures. Let's see what we can find here. This is a plantain, which is a very useful plant to have in the garden because it's got quite a deep root system. But actually what I want to show you here is, see this kind of straggly looking plant? This is a clover plant, and these are really important plants to be growing in conjunction with other plants. These big ropey roots, they belong to the plantain. These really fine roots here belong to the clover, and these are called nodules. And these are small little houses that the plant produces to house a bacterium called rhizobia. And the rhizobia are very special because they can take nitrogen gas from the atmosphere and they turn that into a form of nitrogen that plants use to grow. And nitrogen is an essential component in plant proteins. Without these, the plant would not be growing nearly so well. And these plants work perfectly well in companionship for that reason. The main things that plants need, like us, are air, water and food. When we talk about air in the soil, we talk about plant roots and everything that lives in the soil. They breathe oxygen just like we do. So the air has to be able to get into the soil. Now, if the air is able to get into the soil, water is also able to get into the soil. So soils naturally develop a pore structure, a pore network. So it breathes in oxygen, it breathes out carbon dioxide, and when it rains, we want that rain to go straight into the soil. We want the soil to be friable, open at the surface, actually covered with mulch or plant material to protect the surface of the soil from raindrops, which might flatten the soil. We want it to remain open so the water cycle works through the soil.